Hi and welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I put anything up on the channel, but I very recently, in fact yesterday, picked up this Williams space station. Bit of a project game, so I'm going to start hopefully a new video series while I go through and do it up a bit. So I thought, well, first of all we'll have a quick look at what I managed to get hold of, see what condition it's in, see the kind of things that I'm going to have to fix, and then start taking it to pieces. So starting at the back, in fact let's start on the cabinet. The cabinet, for a game this old, is actually in really nice shape. The reds, you can still see, are all good. One thing I've noticed, that someone's added extra stickers to it. So you can see, if I zoom in really close, there's these extra white stars. I didn't notice this at first. I thought it was just the paint job, but they're actually raised slightly. And then I've looked on IPDB, and they're not there originally. So someone's gone all over the cabinet, it's all on the back box as well, and stuck all these extra stars on. Not sure what to do about that yet. I tried to peel one off, but they're on there pretty good, so it doesn't look too bad. I actually don't think it looks too bad at all. So I may leave it. I'll experiment with trying to get them off, and if it's going to damage the cabinet too much, I'll probably leave it, but otherwise I'll try and get those off. Translight's really nice shape, really good condition. Speaker panel's really good as well. The game's pretty much works. You can play a game. The flippers are pretty weak. It's got some weird switch issues, but it's pretty much working. The displays are all good, so there's nothing to worry about there. It's mainly on the playfield. So if we have a quick scan up, it looks like there's no Mylar on this game. Now, there's no wear to the actual playfield. Most of the paint's really good, so I suspect someone in its past has pulled the Mylar, and you can see that some of the inserts, the insert text, has been, they're not too bad, but the relaunch ones obviously probably the worst, and this one here, and then some of the others are just sort of minor bits of damage. The bonus lights, you can see some of them are a bit stripped. There's also some of them are raised. I'm trying to look for a good example of one. Yeah, that one. It's hard to get it on the camera, but that one's raised up as well. Now, what I might do, I think I'm going to strip the playfield and then make an assessment. I'm toying with the idea of popping all the inserts out, sanding them back off and getting insert decals for everything, redoing all the inserts, and then maybe clear coating the playfield, because I don't have to worry about pulling the Mylar, which is the one thing that is always worrying on these System 11 games. It might be worth trying to do a good restoration on the playfield, because like I say, apart from some paint, little chip paint loss down here, the rest of it looks really good. I mean, I haven't stripped the game yet, so I don't know for definite, but there's not that I can see anyway, no major wear anywhere. It all looks pretty decent. So other things to look at, the biggest piece of damage is this blue ramp up here. So you can see on the front here there's supposed to be a piece that comes round, and it's just snapped clean off. Getting a new one of these I think is going to be pretty difficult. I have put some posts on Pinside and on Pinball Info. We'll see what turns up, but it doesn't, thankfully it doesn't really affect gameplay. It just looks a bit crap, but we'll see what we can do there. The black plastic ramp is in pretty good condition. It's got a bit of damage down the front, worse on this side where it's been smashed. I've ordered one of the new blue ramps that Free Play 40 does on Pinside, so it's going to have a new blue ramp to go in there. That should look pretty cool. I have ordered a new set of plastics for it. I'm thinking that might have been a waste of money, because looking at some of the plastics, they actually look in really good condition, and if I look at some of these flashes, you can see that these aren't riveted anymore. Someone's actually redone these, so I'm wondering if this has had a new set of plastics at some point in its life, and I've just bought another set for no reason. But we shall see when I actually strip the game down. There's one little tiny broken piece here, though that could do with replacing, but if that's it, then that's not too bad at all. What else have I noticed that's not working? The space station, I've not seen it moving around, so don't know what's going on there. The diverter doesn't seem to work either. When I played the game on it earlier, you could lock ball 1, and because that's the position the diverter's in, and it locks over here, but then it didn't change, so you could lock ball 2, so you could never start multi-ball. So that's going to have to be taken to pieces and have a look at. Hopefully nothing too serious, but we'll see what's going on in there. Can't really see because it's a bit dark, but there's the lamps in the back. The orange ones at Spaceman on Time don't work. I'm assuming it's because they've got the wrong bulbs in, because they're supposed to have 1251s and they may have just burnt out, hopefully, anyway. Other than that, there's odd switch issues, so I know for a fact that this switch, well, the kickback doesn't work. So either the switch has had it, or there's something wrong with the actual kickback mechanism. So we'll have to look into that. But that's it, sort of initial assessment wise. There's also some weird, I think again, there's some weird, maybe some weird wiring issues. Some of the wrong GI is coming on, so I'll need to look at that. So under this slingshot, the green GI was on instead of the white GI, so might need a bit of a look at some of the boards. But other than that, all in all, for the money I paid, and not a bad little project to get working on. So the next steps are to start tearing this game apart on the top side and sort of uncover anything else that might need fixing. And we'll come back when I've started tearing it to pieces. So I've just started stripping the top side of the playfield down, and already I think I've found a couple of reasons for some of the issues we're seeing. First off, before we get to that though, here's the shooter rod end, nicely mushroomed. I think that's going to need a bit of filing down. But I mentioned the kickback wasn't working, and I thought it might be the switch of the kickback. And I took the apron off. We've got, if you can see that there, basically the wires off the coil. So hopefully that will sort that out. That'll be a nice easy fix. So one of the other issues I was seeing was the left flipper, when you hit the button, sort of chattering, but really sort of badly. And what I've noticed is it's got, this looks like a pretty new flipper button switch, but if I press the button, whether this will show up in the video or not, and if you can hear that, there's a lot of vibration. It's really thin, the leaf on the switch, and it vibrates back and touches, which I'm guessing is causing the vibration in the flipper. So I think new flipper switches, new cabinet switches all round for this game. Well, even though that looks quite new, I'm not sure if it's the wrong one or it's just not adjusted correctly, but I think I'll just replace them both because the other side is old and not looking too great. So we'll get new flipper switches in there. Here we've got some more evidence of this game actually having been reasonably well looked after, or at least shopped out at some point in its past. You can see underneath the slingshot plastic someone's fitted plastic washers to protect the plastic. Obviously they didn't come like that from the factory, and also we've got LEDs in here as well. So like I say, and on the other side, not fully LED for some reason, but again shows that at some point in its past life someone did do work on this game. I've also noticed, just sort of digging around, it's got like mods on it as well, so there's odd little bits and pieces. It's got a remote battery pack in the back box, and other little bits and bobs that just make me think that I think it's a while ago because it's a bit dirty, but at some point someone did some work on this game and tried to tidy it up a bit. It needs doing again of course, but that's not a bad sign, so hopefully I'll find more things like this where things have been protected or little bits and pieces have been looked after. So yet another mod discovered attached to the game. You can see under the top star posts on the slingshots, star post lights. So there's one on either side. They've only attached them to that top post, not the others, and they're wired in underneath to the white GI. So I'm assuming they still go out like the GI does when it switches over to condition green. So I'm gonna remove those. I'm not sure whether I want to put them back in or not. I'll have a think about that and decide whether I want to put those back in. Now there may be others. I mean, obviously I've still got lots of posts to take off all over the game, so it'll be interesting to see whether any more of these exist anywhere else on the game, or it was just someone sort of having a play with them and got a couple and fitted them to the slingshots because they were easiest to get to. Not too sure, but we'll keep on taking more bits off the game and see what we find. So I'm part way through stripping the top side of the playfield. As you can see, a lot of the big stuff is now off the game, and still more sort of evidence of someone having spent some time working on this game before. You can see more LEDs, both the white and the green, that have been put in by somebody. I will probably swap these out for better quality LEDs. LED flashes as well in most of the flashes. That one looks a bit burnt out. But it's something a bit odd, like under here, white LEDs but green incandescents with the bulb condoms on, so I'm not quite sure whether they didn't do full LED, maybe they ran out. And then also on the space station, most of it's stripped down there, it had this LED, looks like a pop bumper LED ring, sort of upside down, but it was visible from the, like, you could see it, it wasn't hidden in the space station. So I'm not too sure about that. I might leave it, but to be honest, I'm probably thinking I might take that one out. I will keep some of the mods that have been done, I think, once I've had a proper look at them. But as you can see, again, it's definitely the mylar has been removed, which is awesome. So the playfield, I can fix the inserts, and then I've probably got options of either getting it touched up and clear coated, or getting one of those playfield protectors, which I've used before, and getting that done. As I pointed out, most of the inserts will probably need sorting out, but looking good so far. I'm really pleased with it. Like I say, so far the only really damaged piece, the worst area, is the upper playfield ramp, so hopefully I can find one of those. If not, either repair it or just leave it as it is. We'll see what happens. So I'll continue taking this to bits. I think I've discovered the source of another one of the issues I noted when the game was first switched on. So I mentioned the space station just didn't spin round. So having a look underneath, it looks like at some point in its past, either that is a new or replacement motor and gearbox maybe, but what I did notice is someone's put some chocolate block in and one of the wires is hanging out. So hopefully it's just a case of reconnecting that and the motor will spin once more. So if that's the case, that's great news, because then I don't need to go worrying about new motors, gearboxes or any of that sort of stuff. So if that's a simple fix, that would be brilliant. So I've had a chance to have a better look at this light mod that was on the space station, and actually the way it's been designed is pretty creative. I will be removing it though. So it's got like one of those pop bumper rings on the top, but then when you lift the top off, someone's glued these metal rings to the underside of the space station diverter, and then to get power to the lights, they've actually fitted, it's a bit difficult to see because it's got loads of tape on it, but they've wired up through the bottom of the playfield to these little pegs, and then fitted sort of slot car like Scalextrics type brushes onto them, which I guess the idea was that they brush against the metal rings, and that's how the light mod gets power. It doesn't look to be in the best of condition, to be honest with you, and which would explain why it's not working. And I can imagine this didn't work for very long either, because it doesn't seem like a very robust solution. I'll be ripping all this out. I won't be keeping this particular mod, but yeah, never seen anything like that before on a pinball machine. Quite a creative way of getting some power to those lights. So we're at the point now where pretty much the top side of the playfield has been stripped. All that's really left on there are metal posts, pop bumpers, and other odds and sods. Most of the metal posts, it's just going to be easier to take them off if I start stripping bits off the bottom, because some of them are blocked by mechanisms and other bits and bobs on the bottom. But we'll cover that in the next video. All in all, it doesn't look too bad. It should clean up quite nicely. Obviously I've got to do something about the inserts, but I'm thinking I'll get the insert decals for that, and maybe pop all the inserts out, sand them back, and then re-decal them. But we'll see. I'll get the rest of the stuff off so I can start tumbling and other bits and pieces. But yeah, should hopefully turn out to be quite a nice game when it's done. But that'll be it for this first video, and on the next video I will start taking things off the bottom of the playfield. We'll strip that down and start seeing what's under there. Okay, thanks very much.